From 2005 to 2010, I was a muckraker, an activist reporter, but in 2011, I was born again and I am now a candidate for House of Representatives seeking a district in Florida to serve as the first candidate of the Citizens of Conscience Party. When people ask me why I went to Israel and Palestine not just once but 7 times since 2005 and why do I care so much about such a small plot of real estate, I reply that I went the first time to meet a little boy of Bethlehem who irrevocably changed my life. His photo is on the banner of my website, wearewideawake.org, and his name is George. He lives in Bet Jala, a Christian neighborhood, a 5-minute car ride away from the Church of the Nativity, which is in downtown Bethlehem. The photo ran in the Florida Catholic newspaper in 2000, but I didn't see it till about 3 years after. But the second I did, George's eyes spoke to my heart, and I heard, do something. Because George is standing in the rubble of what had been his bedroom the night before the Israeli forces retaliated against a few hopeless militants who had infiltrated his neighborhood to shoot across the gorge, which is around the corner and up the hill from George's home. And they were trying to reach Gilo, which is an illegal settlement, as are all the settlements in the West Bank are illegal under international law. Now, Israel retaliated by sending American-made Apache helicopters over his neighborhood, and the shrapnel that filled George's room read, "Made in USA." If George had been in his bed, he'd be dead, but he was terrorized and ran into his parents' room to hide. And that was also the moment, reading that story, I woke up to the reality that all children are my children. And George has become the symbol of every child, for me, of every child caught in the crossfire of violence and wars. When I met George for the first time in 2005, I vowed to him the rest of my life would be devoted to doing something to help end the military occupation of his homeland so that Palestinians and Israelis would and could live as neighbors and that they would have equal human rights. And that's the way to drive out the hate that drives terrorism by the light of truth and compassion. I founded wearewideawake.org 3 weeks after my first trip and began being politically incorrect. I began pouring my heart out on the World Wide Web. As of now, over 4.8 million visitors have visited my site, but they're not all human beings, but government cyber drones. Now, I'm grateful my government reads me, more like monitors me, because they do not yet converse with me. And because I love America, I want to help make it what our founding fathers intended, that we would have a government that is instituted among people which derives their just powers from the consent of the people who have it in their right when any form of government becomes destructive of their unalienable rights to alter or abolish that government. I want to serve my state and my nation because I believe the well-being of every resident in Florida is connected to the well-being of every American. The well-being of every American is connected to the well-being of every human being and every form of life on our planet. One must act locally and think globally, and to whom much is given, much more is required. If elected to the House of Representatives, I will work diligently to protect our environment. If elected, I will donate all of my take-home pay after expenses to travel, live, and work in D.C. to help finance Habitat for Humanity homes for single-parent families throughout the district I serve. I will seek to reconcile and mend foreign relationships and uphold the spirit and intention of the Constitution of America that successfully separated and balanced governmental powers to safeguard the interests of majority rule and minority rights, of liberty, equality, and of central and state governments. I believe one's religion should guide them not be used to control another, and that it is the peacemakers who are God's children, not those that bomb, torture, or occupy any others. Anyone in the world can help support my campaign by purchasing and disseminating my only fundraising vehicle, my third book, Mordechai Vanunu's Freedom of Speech Trial and My Life as a Muckraker, 2005-2010. And every American can help me send this message to President Obama. I've printed up these postcards, and what they are the maps of Israel-Palestine beginning in 1946 through 2011, and the back reads, annually, over 3 billion American tax dollars are sent to Israel, although Israel has consistently misused U.S. weapons in violation of America's Arms Export Control and Foreign Assistance Acts. We urge you to redirect our taxes to help end the occupation of Palestine and help create a viable Palestinian state within the 1967 borders, or one state with equal human rights for all people of the land. So any American that contacts me through wearewideawake.org and who will help disseminate packets of 25 postcards or more, I'll mail them to you on my dime. If you will share them with your friends and relatives and get them to sign their name and state and mail them to President Obama. Power to the peaceful, in solidarity, yes we can, begin the world again. I'm Eileen Fleming. I'm looking for a district in Florida to serve in the House of Representatives. Learn everything at wearewideawake.org.